Why do people start a business? Usually to provide a better lifestyle for themselves and their loved ones. All successful businesses need to be able to solve a problem. And there's no bigger problem in the UK today than our housing shortage. Why don't you become part of the solution? There's no question that we need more homes in the UK. Not only do we need more homes, but we need better quality homes. Can you imagine the satisfaction you will feel when you hand over the set of keys to the new homeowner of a home that you have created with loving care? There's a popular misconception that you need certain skills in order to become a property developer. In fact, while we have electricians, architects, quantity surveyors, roofers involved in our programs, you don't require any of these skills to become a successful property developer. The two essential skills that you need to become a successful property developer is finding viable land and funding those deals. And the good news is that this is something that you can learn. We have a simple process that we refer to as detect, detail, and deal. And briefly now, what I'm going to do is unpack that process. When we look at this process of detect, detail, and deal, we break that process down into three further segments. So let's first of all look at detect. So the first thing that we want to do is to understand what our local authority in our target area is looking for when you submit a planning application in order to give you the best chance of success of achieving a successful planning application outcome. Second, we need to find that off-market land, and we do that through several different ways in order to be able to identify land that's not currently on the market, giving us the best opportunity to be able to negotiate a great deal because there's so little competition, if any, because we've identified that piece of land rather than it being on a public portal where you're going to face a lot of competition, and it also has probably too high a price tag. And then the third part is we are going to contact that landowner in order to be able to start the negotiation process and have them understand what we are looking to do with the opportunity that they have and how we can increase the value but also make a substantial profit from ourselves from just gaining planning permission on that piece of land. So let's look at the second part of that process, which is detail. And again, we're going to break that down into three different segments. So the first one is that we are going to establish what the gross development value is for that site. In other words, depending on how many houses that you're putting on there, so you think maybe you're going to get 4, 6, 8 houses on there, what is the value of each of those houses multiplied by the number of houses gives us the selling value of those houses once you have completed the build out of that site. So that's fundamentally important because it's from that figure that we're able to deduct our profit and costs to make sure that we have a viable proposition. Second, we're going to move on to establishing our costs. What is our build cost going to be? One of the things that people really struggle with is establishing what is the price or what is the cost of building a house in the UK. But secondly, and just as importantly, what's all the ancillary costs that go into developing a site? This is from starting through the planning application, planning fees, architects, drawings, building control submissions, warranties, but also other development costs such as bringing in an infrastructure depending on the number of houses, the roads, the landscaping, the utilities, bringing in electricity, gas if it's in the area, and how you're going to service that. So all of those other costs are implications in terms of the whole total build cost for that development. And then third, we look at the viability. So the first thing that we need to do is that when we actually start looking at that, we take our gross development value and we deduct our profit. At this stage, from the build cost, we should be deducting 25%, and that's our profit that we expect to get. And then we need to take off all the costs, and that will give us our residual land value. But in fact, if you are taking it through the planning process, then there should be an additional profit from that residual land value. And there's plenty of room for that despite what most people think, in order to gain a profit from that process, because you are uplifting the value of that piece of land. So assuming that we now have a viable proposition, we move into the third stage of this process, which is deal. So we're going to return to the landowner and we're going to present our findings, and we're going to negotiate a deal that gives us at least 25% on our bill profit and an additional profit on our land uplift. A lot of people don't think this is necessarily possible. I'll give you an example of a recent student of ours who's just closed a deal, and the price of the land he's been able to purchase for 100,000, and the local surveyor priced it up at between 250 and 300,000. So there is certainly potential within the land uplift to be able to gain a substantial profit. That is in addition to the bill profit, which you should be making of 25% of gross development value. Having got that agreement in place, we move now to the tying it up legally. And the benefit of the way that we tie it up legally is that you don't really have a substantial outlay at this point. You're not going to purchase the land. You're going to secure it with an option agreement prior to you gaining planning permission. And then you're able to tailor that in to when you want to be able to buy that land, and that will depend on when you've got one deal finishing and the next one is ready to start. So you're only ending up paying for that land at the time when that next deal is ready to go. And then finally, we need to be able to fund that deal, and we will fund that probably with a mixture of private investors and commercial lenders. So that's our process for finding off-market land. If that interests you in any way, then I wanted to let you know that we'll be launching a new program very shortly. This is going to be run on a cohort basis, meaning that we will not only give you the training, which will be available online and broken down into a period of 9 weeks, but we will also support you through that process by having a weekly question and answer session, so that you can get any questions answered, or if you have particular deals that you're looking at, we can have a look at that deal. So we will all be going through that. You'll have that camaraderie of that group of people at the same time. It's going to be very much restricted to somewhere between 10 and 15 people. Haven't quite decided all the details yet, but if you join our waiting list, we'll keep you abreast of any developments, and then invite you to a launch webinar where we'll describe the program and give you an opportunity should you wish to join us at that point. And so again, go to the description below and you'll find a link for that, or if you click this link, which I'll show you now again up there, and join us. And I look forward to speaking to you then when we're ready to launch the program.